Video game addiction. There is nothing like the thrill of beating the final level of a video game that you have been playing. Figuring out all the tricks and shortcuts in a difficult game is challenging that most of us enjoy. What happens though when the game starts to take over? When you dream the game? When your fingers stop mimicking playing the game when you're nowhere near it? When you are dying to get back home so that you can continue where you left off? Video games are a multi-billion-dollar industry, so you can imagine there are a lot of people making a lot of money from it. They are not all bad news. Some games are educational and used for purposes like improving eyesight or teaching medical students how to perform surgery. But the majority of video games are strictly for entertainment. Video game addiction happens slowly. According to the Council on Science and Public Health in the US, addiction to video games seems to occur more likely in children who start playing video games at younger ages. Different studies have shown that up to 15% of video gamers can be considered addicted. That means out of 10 of your friends that play video games, 1 or more may be affected. Overuse of gaming is considered to be more than 2 hours per day. To do that, video gaming has to push other things out of your life: homework, hanging out with your family, and playing with your friends, even eating less. Not to mention that it will give you sudden behavior changes. 1 second, you can be jollier than Santa Claus, and the next, you're angrier than the Hulk. Teenagers and adults today often spend a great deal of time playing video games. These games are fun and engaging, and people often feel like playing games because it is a great thing to do in their spare time. However, you shouldn't spend too much time gaming, and there are a number of reasons for this. It's unhealthy, you should spend more time studying, and you need to socialize more. The primary reason to cut down on gaming time has to be that people who spend a long time on computers and game consoles are often not getting enough exercise. With high obesity rates, it's very important for young people to spend as much time being active as possible, especially since the studies show that people who are overweight during childhood and adolescence are far more likely to become overweight adults than those of a healthy weight when they're young. There is just as much, if not more, fun to be had in getting out and about and being active. This doesn't have to mean going for long runs if it's not your thing. Team sports are both fun and great exercise. Dance or fitness classes are also a good option for those not into sports. Physical consequences of gaming addiction include carpal tunnel, migraines, sleep disturbances, backaches, eating irregularities, and poor personal hygiene. Secondly, getting a good education is the best thing that you can do for your future. If every teenager cut down on their gaming time by 30 minutes per day and used this time to study, the whole of that generation would achieve better results and be more likely to have the career that they want. With education, you get out what you put in. So it's really up to you to put in the additional effort. If you want to go to a good college, extra study in your own time will be completely vital. But gaming can reduce your concentration span and make this more difficult. Counterculturalist Timothy Leary was one of the first to liken computers to LSD, noting the mind-expanding, mesmerizing, and ritualistic similarities between the two. In 1998, at Hammersmith Hospital in London, Dr. Paul Grasby performed a study that showed that playing video games triggers the release of dopamine in the brain. During the study, dopamine levels doubled in the subject's brain when they played video games, a level of dopamine equivalent to an injection of amphetamines or Ritalin. Video game addiction are not actual diagnosis and statistical manual of mental disorders classifications. Although the American Medical Association is reviewing research in order to determine whether they should be included in the next update of the manual. Many mental health professionals feel that video games are similar to gambling as an addictive process. The third main reason that playing video games too often is that it's no good for your social skills. Some may argue that because they can now play their games online with friends, they are socializing in their own way. However, you can beat face-to-face contact, and if you want to succeed in interviews and build good relationships in later life, you need to develop some proper communication skills. This shouldn't be a chore or difficult, because hanging out with friends is far more fun than sitting indoors playing on games all days anyway. Social consequences are a real part of gaming addiction. Addicted gamers spend so much time playing that their personal relationships get neglected and sometimes disappear altogether. Among addicted gamers who are married, up to 50% report a strain in their marriage as a result of their addiction. In conclusion, there can be no doubt that spending too much time gaming isn't good for you. You don't have to stop altogether, but it's all about moderation. Cut down and allocate your additional free time to doing things that are good for you, and you definitely won't regret it in later life.